It's getting worse, if anything. That's my biggest struggle. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Raina. I'm a registered nurse and stay-at-home mom of 2, and this channel is all about what I eat and why I eat high-fat, meat-heavy keto, aka Ketovore. In this vlog, I'm going to be updating you guys on the past 10 days on the dairy-free sort of experiment that I'm going on. It's about 97% dairy-free. As you can tell, I did put a little bit of cream in my coffee, but just barely any. I've kind of perfected as little heavy cream as I'm okay with in my coffee, because if you've watched my beef, butter, bacon, and eggs playlist, you know I hate black coffee. I couldn't even do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs without a little bit of cream. So this, as much as I put in there, was just about as much as I'm willing to have in my coffee without throwing it in, down the drain. So I'm gonna update you guys on the symptoms, because in my last vlog that I uploaded 10 days ago, I wasn't able to do a week vlog. That I'll update you guys on what's going on, that I wasn't able to do a week vlog. I wanted originally to update you guys on this experiment every week, because I'm gonna do at least 30 days of it. But first I'm gonna tell you about the symptoms that I was having that led me to deciding to go dairy free, which I talked about in this vlog that I'm gonna put up here somewhere. And I'll update you guys on how that's going and other changes that I've seen. And then we'll talk about other keto things. So the first thing that I was complaining about in my last vlog was, I talked about how much dairy I was consuming. So much dairy, and it kind of snuck up on me, because dairy is delicious, right? Like adding cheese and cream cheese to stuff is delicious. You can add it to any foods and just instantly make it creamier and delicious and even more palatable for the kids. And I started seeing some dandruff come back, and I talked a little bit in my last vlog also about how terrible my dandruff could get at times, way before keto. And I didn't like the idea of that happening again, because I had already started seeing some spots come back and some flakes. And so what's really interesting is I went dairy free, about 95% dairy free. And I say 95 because a little bit of heavy cream that I'm allowed to have in my coffee is it. That is all, because I figured I can't have coffee with that a little bit of heavy cream. But the rest of my food, I've just been having it, without dairy. Except for one mistake, and small mistake. Okay, that's one time that I definitely cheated, that I completely forgot I was dairy free, and I posted it on my Instagram, and then I was like, oh shoot. I posted about what I was eating, and then I realized, oh, I forgot I was dairy free. Anyway, so I was talking about how bad my dandruff could get, especially with my hair being black. Very obvious. It stands out really bad, and about how sometimes I would bleed. Well, I started seeing some patches come back, and on day 3, so I went dairy free, and on my 3rd day dairy free, I hadn't seen any good changes up until then. In fact, it started getting itchy. My scalp started getting itchy, and I could swear there was more spots coming up. And if anything, I felt like it was getting worse. And I even started thinking, well, I am gonna give it still 30 days just to see if this dairy-free thing is going to do anything, right? It's more than anything an experiment to see if this will change anything. Because I realized after I made the vlog, as I was talking with my husband about it, he's like, so dairy can cause dandruff? I'm like, well, I thought it was for me, because I didn't think that it was a coincidence that I was eating so much that I was getting dandruff back after 2 years just right when I happened to, up my dairy intake so much. So I didn't think, I just directly linked it, right? When I noticed my dandruff, I was like, what am I doing in my diet? That's instantly where my mind went. But I realized maybe that wasn't it. Maybe it's something completely different, but I hadn't changed anything in my hair routine, lately. So I don't know. And so day 3, all these doubts started creeping in because my scalp was itchy. And then day 4, it was still kind of itchy. Day 5 wasn't really getting worse, not really getting any better. Then I want to say around day 6, day 7, when I was thinking about uploading a video or filming a video for you guys, but I couldn't. That's when I realized, because I was thinking, I really don't have anything good to say. Like, it's getting bad. It's getting worse, if anything. So that's not a good update, right? For something that I thought was supposed to help me. But ever since day 6 or so, I haven't seen dandruff again. It's gone. I don't think I have any itchiness anymore. The spots are maybe like back to when I first started noticing them. So there's no itchiness anymore. The itchiness, it was almost like, they say those things, like there's a lot of things like acne and things like that. When you start a treatment, it has to get worse before it gets better. It was almost like that. Like, it did get worse for a few days, but now I feel like it's almost like getting better again. I can't say I'm like completely dandruff free again, like I was before, but I definitely don't notice it getting worse. The spots are kind of back to square one where I was, at right when I noticed it. So maybe slightly better than 10 days ago when I uploaded my last vlog. I'm hoping that still means that I'm on my path back to it being completely gone. Because I swear you guys, I haven't seen a flake in 2 years since before 10 days ago. So I think that the dairy definitely was affecting me because it's inflammatory, right? Like, and I knew that, and it may not be for some people, but just in the amounts that I was eating, I know it's inflammatory. And that is proven by these other things that I'm going to talk to you guys about. I talked also about how I saw spots on my face coming back, and several days I took videos of I showed you guys the spots that were coming up that I hadn't, that was as bad as I had been since keto. And then I took some clips of how my face was improving day to day. And, the spots that I had here and here, well, they're gone. Completely gone. And those didn't take very long to go away. So if anything, when I started doubting the dairy thing, if it was really helping me at all, I realized, well, if anything, it's helping my acne for sure. So those spots went away pretty easily. And I already knew that. I knew that dairy was inflammatory for my skin. I already knew that. So to me, it makes sense that dandruff would kind of follow along those lines, right? That it would exacerbate it, I guess, or irritate it. So I'm sticking with the whole dairy thing, the dairy-free thing. I do plan on adding it back in after about 30 days in very small amounts, but even when I add it back in, it's just something that I'm gonna have to always be conscious of, that I'm always going to have to be very careful with. And so I was just way over the top with my dairy consumption. It snuck up on me, and I don't ever want to do that again. So yeah, my face is back to normal, even though my diet hasn't been perfect the last few days. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But another thing that I've noticed just with these past 10 days, give me 1 second, because it's still warm, See, this way it's not super creamy, as you can tell, as I'm used to having it, but it still has just enough that I'm comfortable drinking it, and it tastes good, and yeah, and I'm happy. And I don't dread my cup of coffee. So the other thing that I've noticed is as I was taking just clips of my face in the mornings after washing it, just to see if those acne spots were gone, I noticed that I was a little less inflamed, a little less red in my face when I would wash my face in the morning, and a little less puffy. Oh, does anyone else wake up a little bit puffy in the morning? Or is it just me? Because I feel like a lot of people do. So I don't know, right, if this is a dairy thing. But with me cutting it out almost completely, I mean, it's bound to make a difference in your body, right, with the inflammation and stuff. So I really think that I've been waking up less puffy in the mornings. Again, I don't want to make a bold statement and say that this is exactly why. It could be complete coincidence, but I really do think so. I'm now a little bit more, maybe I'm just seeing things that aren't really there, that aren't really happening, but I see it, I feel it, I don't know. So that's a good surprise, right? If it is happening, great. If not, then it's not really a big deal. This low inflammatory or low inflammation diet that I'm eating is enough, right? So yeah, those are the changes that I've seen so far, day 10. But I'm gonna continue to go, down this dairy-free path, and I'm continuing to drink my coffee like this. I've slowly added less and less cream. I think Sophia just, yeah, let me check on Sophia real quick. I'm joined by baby Sophia. She's eating, I made chicken soup the other day with just some drumsticks and some vegetables, and that's what she's having. So I finished telling you guys about the symptoms, about the dairy-free experiment update. But I did make a mistake. It was a couple of days ago, and we were at the mall, and we had this place called Charlie's that's known for their Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. They're really good. I just had my meat on a bed of lettuce, but I forgot to tell them no cheese. And I posted it on my Instagram because it looks so good, and I often update Instagram on what I'm eating, like on the daily almost. So check me out there if you haven't. But I did make a mistake, not in updating you guys, but I made a mistake in forgetting to ask for no cheese. So that was the one meal these whole 10 days that I forgot. No regrets though. No regrets. I even told my husband. He's like, no, he didn't notice it. I was the one that told him. I was like, dang, I forgot that I was dairy free. He's like, do you regret it? I'm like, no, not one bit. It was a mistake, but it was a really good mistake. Anyway, so also I've mentioned that I've been not great with my diet, and that is because if you are coming from my Triple B and E playlist and you watch some of those videos, you know that I've struggled. Like I talked extensively about my struggles with like around family, right? We have a very big family, and so social gatherings where there are lots of temptations, that's my biggest struggle, is like staying firm with my diet during those social gatherings. Even if there's meat around, right? There's still like donuts and there's cake and all these things. So I haven't been the best at staying away. Yeah, I know. You have a mouthful of chicken. I haven't been the best at staying away from those things. But I will say, even though I haven't done so great lately, because for the past few months, we've had family staying with us on and off, and we've had just big social gatherings because we've had people coming in from other states. So we get together. But despite that, even though I'm not going to go through the list of things that I've, had, I don't want to trigger anybody, but some definitely non-keto things, some high sugar things. But I will say that I am doing better in compromising with myself on things. Like, for example, the other day we went to a wedding. It was a 50th anniversary wedding. I've never been to one of those, so it was a big deal. It was a big deal for them, right? Not for me. And they served everyone these plates of food, delicious food, by the way. And there was lots of carbs on the plate, but thankfully there was also a lot of meat. So I said, I'm not gonna eat, anything else. I'm just gonna eat the meat. So I ate my meat, and then I looked to the side, and there's this big table full of cakes. There was like 5 different cakes and then cupcakes. So I said, I'm gonna have some cake. So I had some cake. You know, I didn't touch the carbs on my plate so I could have a little bit of cake. I haven't been great with my diet, but once we're back to routine, I hope to be able to not touch carbs again. So that's kind of what's been going on there. That's also the reason why I couldn't update you guys at the 7-day mark, is because we've had family in, and so I don't like vlogging when there's family in the house, right? People that don't want to be in the vlog. I wanted to share that with you guys because I don't think that this is a place for judgment. I think that if anything, it's good to share the struggles that you have as well as the successes. It's just as important because I'm not the only one. Like everyone has their own struggles, right? And I'm sure that I will never be able to say that my diet is perfect, and I will always have struggles, right? So that's one of my struggles, and I think it's not at all justified, but it's definitely, you know, worse because we've had just a lot more family gatherings and more temptations. But again, I'm improving, and I'm compromising with myself. And thankfully, I'm at a place, I think, in my health where a little bit of leniency, although not always, but a little bit of leniency, I don't think is super detrimental to my health. But again, it's not justifying it. I definitely am not proud of myself for having these carbs, but it is what it is, you know? Okay, so as for the plan for today for food, it's actually 1:38. I haven't had my first official meal. I've only had a couple of sausage patties this morning when we were eating with family. My first official meal is going to be leftovers because we've had a lot of takeout, and there's chicken and all kinds of different meat. I think we have pulled pork from the wedding the other day as well, so I'm going to be having leftovers. Thankfully, there's a lot of it, so a lot of meat. And then for dinner, for the second meal, I'm making pork ribs. Freddie likes the pork ribs that I make. I just add a little bit of this, let me show you, this butt rub, and it's sugar-free actually. I didn't think it was. They should definitely advertise it as so. I should say it on the front, but it doesn't. It's sugar-free, and I also added a little bit of Redmond's smoked salt, just their, the Chef's Blend smoked salt. I always add that to my ribs, just a little bit. So that is what we're having tonight. All right, this is my first meal. I got some pulled pork, ground beef, and a small chicken drumstick. And I made some guacamole, just avocado, salt, and lime, and some low-carb salsa.